Welcome to Rock Your Reinvention. I'm Karen Freeland, your guide to ditching corporate and designing a life you love. If you're ready to shift your mindset, boost your confidence, and finally take action on that dream career or business, you're in the right place. It's your time. Let's rock your reinvention. Today, we are talking confidence. If you have ever felt like you should be more confident, but can't quite figure out why you doubt yourself, you're in the right place. I can't tell you how many of my clients come to me wanting to boost their confidence. And even the ones who don't initially tell me that that's what they want end up wanting that at some point during our coaching engagement. So my hope is that today's episode will function like a mini workshop for you. And we're going to be able to boost your confidence in about 20 minutes. So grab a notebook and get ready to take action. Because confidence is not something reserved for the chosen few. It's something every single one of us can build, including you. But let's start with a quick gut check. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your confidence right now? If 1 feels like non-existent and 10 feels like superstar diva, where are you on that spectrum? Just take a moment and write that number down. Let me share a little bit more about my own confidence journey first. Picture this. It's 2016. I landed the highlight of my corporate career, chief of staff for a $13 billion telecommunications company. Not too shabby, huh? Especially for a dance major. I was flying on the corporate jet, dining with the C-suite, working with the executives that I had looked up to for oh so long. And yet, I was riddled with fear. Every single day, I thought, someone's going to figure out that I'm not that good. I don't belong here. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not as smart as those guys. You know the drill. I would go home at night, and of course, I would self-medicate. And I know I'm not the only one who's ever numbed out in some way, right? You've been there. And even though you don't become chief of staff without a stellar track record, I couldn't see what everyone else saw. And then one day, the president announced his retirement. And when he called me, he said something that changed everything. You want to know what he said? He said, "The sky's the limit for you, Karen. Your next role, you should be running a line of business." I was like, who, me? And my jaw hit the ground. And the thing is, he's not the type of person who would ever say something he doesn't mean, right? Like he would not just blow smoke or placate me. He really saw potential in me that I could not see in myself. And I realized that if other people can see greatness in me, then I can too, aka I can be more confident. And here's why I share this. Because if I can become chief of staff, oh, by the way, in case you forgot, I was a dance major in college, leave corporate, publish not 1, but 2 award-winning books, build a business and reinvent my entire life, sister, you can do anything. But first, you have to conquer your confidence issues. So you ready? Because that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to start by talking about what confidence really is. And if we're going to do that, we got to redefine confidence because most people get this wrong. You think confidence is self-esteem. Oh, it's a feeling. Like I'll be confident when I feel confident. Or maybe you think it's a personality trait that only extroverts or some magical unicorns get to possess. And I would consider all of those myths about confidence. And if you want to hear me unpack the top 5 myths about confidence that you need to overcome, I want you to go listen to episode number 43 of Rock Your Reinvention after this. So write that down, episode 43. See, those things can all change with a bad comment or a rough day. Self-esteem, that feeling, all of those things can just vanish, right? With one bad moment. But no, confidence is actually a skill set. It is a muscle that gets stronger over time. It's a set of behaviors that you employ regularly that reinforce your confidence. The way I define it in my book, Grab Life by the Dreams, is that confidence is the willingness to try, combined with the trust that you will figure it out no matter how things go, right? Whether they go perfectly or whether you learn something along the way. And when you adopt this definition of confidence, 3 things happen. 1, you regain your power. You're not waiting to feel confident anymore. There's nothing to wait for. Number 2, you take all the pressure off of perfection because all you need is a willingness to try. And I know you're willing to try or you wouldn't be listening to this show. And number 3, you're able to create a plan, a blueprint, if you will, that you can execute time and time again. It's those confidence boosting behaviors. But the next thing you have to understand is what we call the confidence cycle. Okay, so now that we have this new definition for confidence, we feel good about that. We have to understand how confidence actually works. And most people think you try something and then you have one of 2 results. You either pass, things go well, or you fail, things don't go well. And if you pass, you feel really good, so you try more new things. But if you fail, then you feel bad, and then you avoid new things. And it's understandable because this is kind of what we're taught in our life experiences. I mean, think about your earliest memories of being in school, right? There were tests, and you either passed the test or you failed the test. You might try your best, but if you still get a bad grade, you're going to probably fail, right? So there's actually no reward for trying or learning. But here's how it really works outside of that construct. You try, you learn something. You get better. You try something again. You to make some tweaks. You learn and you get better, right? So while you're doing this, you're actually building competency. Therefore, your confidence begins to grow. Think about it. Every skill you have ever mastered came from doing it badly first. Literally everything. I mean, think back to the first day on your job, right? Even as like a teen. I mean, you can go back as far as you want. I remember when I first started as a corporate trainer, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I have an acting background. I'm pretty sure I'm okay on stage, if you will. But I didn't actually know the first thing about training. But I figured it out because I had a willingness to try. And I was okay with screwing some things up. And then tweaking it, getting better, and learning as I went, building that competency. I had a client who always used to say, I'll be confident when I have more experience. But unfortunately, that's backwards because you gain experience by trying, by having the confidence to go for it, right? Confidence actually has to come first, not after perfection or mastery, but right from the very beginning when you trust yourself to figure those things out. So if you've got your notebook out and you're taking copious notes, which I hope you are, I want you to answer this question. What area of your life do you want more competency in right now? And there may be several. Write them all down, right? Maybe it's having better financial acumen. Maybe it's being better at marketing yourself. Maybe you want to build a competency around setting boundaries. Maybe you want to go for a promotion and learn how to better position yourself. Maybe you want something that's not work related, like parenting or learning to trade the stock market. I always choose that one because that's something that I'm teaching myself. But what do you want competency around? Is it public speaking? Something else? Make a list of all the areas that you want to build competency in, and then just pick one to start, right? Go back and circle the one where you feel most called to right now. Okay, so we have a new definition for confidence. And now we know some areas where we want to build competency, knowing that there's not this pass-fail construct anymore. We can break free of that. We can learn, we can try, we can build competency. All right, so let's talk about change because let's be real. Our relationship with change does impact confidence. Most women start to feel really confident maybe in their role or in running a business or whatever it is that they're doing, until something changes. There's a reorg, a new business line gets added to their plate. A boss leaves, and now all of a sudden they have to step in and fill the shoes at a different level. There's maybe a divorce or a move, a promotion. Even changes that we initiate can shake us. And you might be thinking, well, why? Why would a change that I actually initiate or I want shake me or break my confidence? Well, it's partly because your brain, its whole job is to keep you safe, not successful. Whoa, let me say that again. Write this down. It is your brain's job to keep you safe, not to keep you successful, right? Your brain avoids discomfort like the plague. But the problem is, discomfort is where all the growth happens. And if you're not growing, then what are you doing? Like, you're staying stagnant. And no one thrives when they're just stagnant. Now, you might get by, you might status quo, but I mean, I'm not here to help you live a status quo life. I'm here to help you live your best life ever. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your relationship with change? Be honest here, okay? Do you fear it? Do you warm up to it with time? Do you need a lot of context or information to help you navigate a change? Or do you thrive? Do you feel excited? Do you welcome change? Are you cool with ambiguity? And there's really no right or wrong answer here, but awareness is helpful for you to really understand, okay, maybe this is why I'm not feeling confident. I'm not feeling confident because there's some information missing about this change that's happening or about this move I want to make. So the more comfortable you get with change, the more confident you're going to be on a regular basis, right? Go back to that definition that we just talked about. It's trusting yourself to figure things out. This means that you can handle whatever's thrown at you. You might wobble for a second, but we're not staying there for long because we're like, oh, right, I know how to get through this. I welcome change. I'm excited for change. Now, let's consider for a second how you've, I would say, lost your confidence, but really, that's how my clients refer to it, right? I don't like to think of it like there's a confidence lost and found that you can just visit and suddenly be like, oh, there's my confidence. I found it. It was in this box. Thanks for saving it for me, right? It's more of an event or a series of experiences that have impacted your confidence, therefore blocking your confidence from shining through. So it's not gone. It's not somewhere else. It's still within you, but it's being hindered. It's being blocked. And as adults, we accumulate tons of confidence blockers, right? We might harp on our past failures or things we deem as failures. We might have been micromanaged at our job or, treated like we were a kid. And so, especially if you're in the boys club and they're treating you like the secretary instead of giving you your due, right? And understanding all the value and the worth that you bring to the table, right? That can impact your confidence. If you're in an abusive or a toxic relationship, past or present, being fired, having a feeling of rejection, self-sabotage can be something that has damaged your confidence. And of course, a fixed mindset. That's just to name a few things. And I want you to know that you do not struggle because you are incapable. You struggle because you've forgotten who you are, who you were before these events, before these confidence blockers. And maybe that's because you let some outside influences tell you lies, or you have mistakenly placed your worth in outcomes that you can't control. I'll give you an example. I had a client that took a special project at work, and when the funding was cut and the team couldn't deliver the project because they didn't have the budget to do it, she felt like a failure, and she refused to take any extra initiatives on her plate. But the outcome wasn't her fault. She was set up for failure with the budget cut. And once we went back and we revisited the facts, she was able to shift her mindset and get back in the game at work. But we had to see what that event was that had shaken her confidence. And I'm sure you might have a laundry list of things that you've experienced. And I really want you to take some time to journal through that. List those things out so that you can stare them in the face and take their power away. They don't have any power over you unless you let them have power over you. That is a choice. And I want you to make the bold choice of letting that go, of not letting those things mean anything about you. I told you I would help you boost your confidence in 20 minutes, and I've got a couple minutes left to do that. And I want to give you one more powerful exercise, one more thing to really think about that I know is going to help boost your confidence. I want you to think of a time in your life when you went through a massive change and you came out stronger. It could be starting a new job. It could be ending a relationship. Maybe moving to a new state, getting healthy, going through maybe some health challenges and then coming out on the other side, or going through a loss and rebuilding. Those are just a few examples. You know, for me, when I think back to when I was chief of staff, I spent so many nights crying in the bathroom from stress. I really did. And suffering with imposter syndrome and all of that, but I didn't quit. And I'm so proud of myself because I'll tell you what, there were some times that I wanted to. I wanted to walk out of that office, mic drop style moment, and just be like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. But you know what? Because I survived that, I learned so many things. How to present to boards, how to manage executives, how to deal with high pressure environments. And those skills have really shaped who I am as a coach and how I'm able to help others in those situations. When I look back and recall all that I went through in that season, everything else feels like a cakewalk. And I know you have those examples in your life too. And I'm really glad I had all those experiences. They have been helpful for me. So now it's your turn. I want you to write down one example where you faced a big change and came out wiser, stronger, and more capable. And I know you could probably think of 20, but just take a moment right now to think of one. And that moment becomes your proof. Proof that you are resilient. Proof that you can learn new things. Proof that you can figure it out even when the going gets tough. And that, my friend, is the foundation of real confidence. Anytime you feel your confidence wobble, I want you to return to that moment. I want you to remind yourself what a badass you are. Use it as the evidence that you've done hard things before and you can do them again. Let's go back to the question that I asked you at the very beginning of today's episode. How would you rate your confidence on a scale of 1 to 10? Now that you have a new definition for confidence, you know where you want to build competency in your life. You know why you've lost some of your confidence. And you have confidence proof from your past. How would you rate your confidence now? Even if it went up 1 point, that's a big win. For just a few minutes of work, like I said, 20 minutes, you were able to boost your confidence. And if it went up more, even better. Look, if today's episode resonated, I would be so grateful if you did 2 things. 1, I want you to write down your confidence proof story and revisit it every day for a week. I really want this to sink in for you, okay? You can't just remember your proof story once and then not look at it again. Go back to it every single day for a week. And the second thing, if this episode resonated, would you share with a friend who needs a confidence boost, please? We can all support each other and lift each other up by sharing these shows. Well, thanks for being here. That does it for today's episode. Until next time, go out there and rock your reinvention. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're inspired to take action by committing to one of the tips or strategies we talked about in today's episode. If you want more accountability and support, I've got your back. Book a complimentary Empowered Exit Strategy call today. Visit KarenFreeland.com to learn more and book your 45-minute session. Until next time, stay fabulous.